Good evening, ham radio operators and fans. The date is August 24th, and the time is 8 p.m. Central. All regular amateur traffic, please stand by, because you are now listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, heard Thursday nights here on Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club frequencies and the University Link repeater system. First, let me ask if there is any emergency or priority traffic on this frequency. Hearing none, we will continue. I am transmitting tonight from Dripping Springs using the 147.320 repeater, affectionately known as the Oak. For more information about the club's repeater system, and how to become a member, please visit n50ak.org. You can also participate in this net using the University Link repeater system. For more information about the University Link system, please visit ka5d.com. If you're outside of Austin, we would love to hear from you too. The way to get in is via Echolink by connecting to KA5D-R or K5TMT-R. And finally, you can reach us via All-Star by connecting to node 51444. If you are listening through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you're on the University Link repeater system, set your tone to 97.4. For club members, we also have our very own Thursday night net discussion and video net channel on Discord. You can request approval to join the Discord channel by going to our website, n50ak.org, and scrolling down to the bottom of that main page. Thursday night's always a good time to request access, as many of our Discord site admins are normally listening to the net. So swing by and say hi to folks if you can on the Discord. My name is Steve, KI5UKS, and I'll be your net controller for this evening. Speaking of which, this is a controlled net, which means that stations should refrain from transmitting until designated check-in or comment times. If you are a new ham or just new to the net, the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net is a social net. We get together every week to share radio knowledge, ask questions, and just hang out. It is very easy to check into this net. In just a bit, I'll ask for short time check-ins and take down a list of all stations who want to participate. Once we have everyone checked in, I'll go through the list one at a time and wait to hear from you. If you missed the first round of check-ins, don't worry, we'll grab you on the next round, and we'll keep going round after round until we get through everyone that wants to talk tonight. Please avoid topics of politics, religion, or anything else potentially inflammatory. Please keep it nice, clean, and appropriate. We do have young hams participating. It is time for station identification and the opening of the net for check-ins in just a few minutes. Please stand by. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N50AK. Again, if you're just joining us through the Oak Hill repeater, the tone is 114.8 if you want to participate. And if you're on the University Link repeater system, the tone is 97.4. Okay, it is time for short time check-ins. Short time check-ins means operators who cannot stay for the entire net. I will not open the floor for comments or questions for the short timers after their turn. That way you all can check in, say hi, get on the log, and go on with your evening. If you check in as a short timer and later find out you have time to rejoin the net, please feel free to recheck. So if you're busy tonight but want to check in, I'm looking for short time check-ins. Please come now with your call sign and your name. I'd really appreciate that call sign phonetically and a little slow. Short time check-ins, go ahead.
This 5 Bravo Zulu India, K5BZI Ray and South Papa.
This is Kilo India 6, Hotel Quebec Tango, Ken in North South Austin, no traffic.
This is Kilo Juliet 5, Alpha Victor Juliet, Bermuda, no traffic. Thanks for doing the net.
This is
Kilo Juliet 5, Alpha Victor Romeo, Travis and Kyle.
This is Kilo Alpha 5 Delta, Kyle, Central Austin, no traffic.
Okay, do we have anyone else out there who wants to check in short time? All right, we'll go back to the top of the list, and the first one we have on our list who looks like he's hanging out in the kitchen tonight is Ray, K5BZI. What's going on, Ray?
What up, Steve? K5BZI, absolutely in the kitchen cooking dinner. My wife's a little under the weather today, so making salmon fillets and little rice and some mixed veggies. As far as radio goes, I've been doing a bunch of upgrades to the shack, replacing a bunch of cheap feed line that I had in there for jumpers and things, and I got my amp fixed, and I'm waiting on a part that I need to build a data cable for it for my newer radio. It's an FL7000 Yaesu, and so it was built in the 80s, and my radio now, my previous radio was an 80s radio and interfaced with it fine, but my new one has a different interface. So I got a plug coming tomorrow, should be able to get that back on the air, which is cool. And just a handful of other, laundry list of other little things I've been doing in the shack, man, just major shack upgrades over the last couple of weeks, so I'm pretty excited about that. And lastly, made several contacts on 11 meters this afternoon, one in British Columbia, one in Cape Cod, and the third one was, where was he? Somewhere outside of LAX, yeah. On 11 meters sideband, channel 38, so good times there. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for hosting the net tonight, man. 7-3 to everybody joining tonight, and we'll catch you later on. K5BZI back in there.
Yeah, Ray, sound like you've been pretty busy. Sorry to hear that your wife's feeling under the weather. Hope she'll get to feeling better soon. I'm glad she's lucky to have you there to take care of her. So thanks for checking in short time, and good luck with all of your upgrades that's going on. All right, now next we had Ken with no traffic. We had, I think it was Ben, KJ5AVJ in Buda maybe with no traffic. And then next we have Travis and Kyle. What's going on, Travis?
Hey, how's it going? Good evening, everyone. I didn't have any traffic. I should have said that. I'm actually outside working on the lawn right now. So just wanted to say hello and wish everyone a good evening. KJ5AVR, clear.
All right, Travis, good luck with that project. And next we had KA5D Kyle, also with no traffic. Anybody else want to check in short time before we move on to the rest of the program?
This is Alpha India 5 Juliet Tango. This is Rick, somewhere on 183.
Any other short time check-in? Hey, Rick, great signal from you for the mobile. How's it going tonight?
Going very well. Just picked up the daughter. We're heading home. We're gonna turn in for the night. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Nothing exciting to report here.
Good to hear. Well, safe trip, and again, your audio is really good for mobile. That's excellent. So drive safe. All right. The next, let me do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N50AK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you're just joining us, again, the Oak Hill repeater system, the tone you need to set to is 114.8. And if you're using the University Link repeater system, set your tone to 97.4. My name is Steve, KI5UKF, and I am your net controller for tonight's net. I do have a little bit of news. I wanted a couple of interesting news stories I wanted to cover with you all. First, we had an item on space.com. NASA's Perseverance Mars rover has given us a sneak peek of an intriguing patch of the sun that's not yet visible from Earth. Perseverance photographs the sun daily with its Mastcam Z camera system to gauge the amount of dust in the Martian atmosphere. Such an effort captured a big sunspot moving across the solar disk last week and over the weekend, as spaceweather.com reported. Quote, because Mars is orbiting over the far side of the sun, Perseverance can see approaching sunspots more than a week before we do. End quote. SpaceWeather.com wrote in a post highlighting the sunspot photos, consider this your 1 week warning, a big sunspot is coming. Sunspots are relevant to ham radio because they are relatively dark and cool areas where the sun's magnetic field is particularly strong. These patches commonly serve as launch pads for solar flares, outbursts of high energy radiation, or coronal mass ejections, CMEs, which is why they are known as active regions. Solar flares and CMEs that hit Earth can affect satellite navigation and disrupt power grids, among other things, so tracking the movement of sunspots is more than just of academic interest. Sunspots are relatively... Our next news item comes from ARRL's website. Amateur radio activators were activated on Sunday, August 20th, 2023, to provide communications and information for Tropical Storm Hillary. As of mid-morning Sunday, the system was moving up the Baja Peninsula of Mexico, expected to cross into Southern California. Heavy rains were falling in San Diego, and local media reported that 250 airline flights had been canceled. Amateur radio station at the National Hurricane Center was on air. The Hurricane Watch Net HWN was also activated Sunday morning. We will remain active until our services are no longer required. This system does have a good chance of crossing into California as a tropical storm. If so, it will be the first tropical storm to hit California since 1939, wrote Net Manager Bobby Graves, KB5HAV. All right, now we're going to switch over to Fox News, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Sky N5LX for our weekly news about last weekend and potential fox hunts for this weekend. Sky?
Hey, Steve. This is N5LX here, excuse me, for this week's Fox News. For this last weekend, let's see, who hosted? Ernesto hosted this last week's fox hunt. He's KI5PZN. And unofficially, Rusty, WZ5BBS, was kind of involved. The fox hunt finders this time around were as follows. Paul, KA5FCU, Dirk, AP5WW, Jim, KG5UTK, William and Matthew, KC6ARO, David, K5YAN, George, K5TR. I was participating as well. And our last fox hunt finder was Scott, with his kids Madison and Lauren, K5SDW. I think Madison and Lauren were the young ladies whose picture was posted in the Fox Hunt Discord channel, and it looks like they were having a lot of fun. I'm going to do a quick reset. Anyway, even though I kind of decided I wasn't going to divulge location of previous fox hunts, like right after a fox hunt, I've been in the habit of posting a picture where it was and letting everybody know, because I thought that was kind of fun, but I kind of decided that what if we wanted to reuse a location at some future date, so I didn't want to give them away, and at some point we're going to run out of locations, but this week I'm going to tell you where it is, and you'll understand why in a second. It was Rusty's house, and what has it been now? I don't know, 3 times or 4? I can't remember, but it was confusing, I think. At least according to Rusty, Ernesto, he didn't have time to spend to look for a new location, so he figured he'd just fool everyone and hide it at Rusty's yet again. Reset. It worked for me. I didn't expect it to be there, and I thought there's no way, that it would be there again. But it was, and so I'm just kind of curious, if you joined the net tonight and you were participating in the fox hunt, maybe let us know what you thought of that location and whether or not you were fooled by having it there again. Anyway, Rusty was a really great host. He visited with everyone, which was mutually enjoyable, and I have no doubt that we wore him out, though, because there was a lot of people on this one. Anyway, thanks to everyone who participated in this last week's hunt, and thanks to Ernesto for being too lazy to find a new spot and fooling some of us in the process. Reset. If radio direction finding sounds like something you'd be interested in, but you haven't tried it yet, feel free to check out the N5OAK website and the Fox Hunt Discord channel for details. In addition, be sure to take a look at pinned messages for directions on how to make fox hunt maps and how to build a tape measure Yagi and a lot more. And the pinned messages are the little icon in the upper right corner of the Discord page. Anyway, that's all for now, and looking forward to the next fox hunt coming up. I don't know when it's going to be. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do one yet, but I think I might do one this weekend. So stay tuned. Check out the Discord channel. This is November 5, Lima X-Ray. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you for that update, Sky. Appreciate that. And that was a big surprise to see that it was Rusty's house again. I don't think anybody was really expecting that. I wonder what a fourth time would look like. All right, let's pass the mic over now to Rusty, our president, with the club news and announcements. And Rusty's also got a couple, as a bonus, a couple of test questions from the general exam pool. Rusty?
Thanks, Steve. And Sky, you're correct. There are a lot of people that came by. I had company all day Saturday. That was a whole lot of fun. I showed up from Old Man Breakfast, and there were 3 old men pondering the trials and tribulations of the world in my front yard. So it was a good Saturday. Thanks to everybody that played along. We've got 3 questions. I got 2 from the general exam pool and 1 from the extra, because why not? So let's see how you do. Our first question is as such: on which of the following bands is phone operation prohibited? On which of the following bands is phone operation prohibited? Alpha, 160 meters. Bravo, 30 meters. Charlie, 17 meters. Or Delta, 12 meters. Do that again. On which of the following bands is phone operation prohibited? Alpha, 160 meters. Bravo, 30 meters. Charlie, 17 meters. Delta, 12 meters. We're going to open the floor up to technicians. If you are a technician, please come with your call sign and your answer choice now.
KJ5VLC, Kilo Juliet 5, Bravo Lima Charlie. I'm going to go with B, 30 meters.
All right, we got KJ5VLC in for Bravo. Anybody else want to play? All right, let's open the floor up to anybody. If you are a licensed amateur radio operator and you want to play along, give me your call sign and your choice.
November 5, Sierra Mike Oscar Bill, B, 30 meters.
All right, we got Bill in for Bravo. Anybody else?
This Kilowatt 5, Bravo Zulu India, K5BZI. I'm going to go with Bravo as well, and I'm curious, Rusty, if Ernesto told you he was going to plant the fox in your front yard, or if he just did it without you knowing.
We were having having dinner on Friday night, and he was trying to figure out a place. And I was just like, dude, you should totally put it in my front yard, because nobody will be, they expect that kind of devious crap from me, but they would totally, it's like nobody's thinking about it. So that's, it was kind of my idea, and the more we thought about it, the more we started laughing. So it would have been kind of funny if he hit it from me, though. So maybe next time. All right, anybody else want to come in and play on question number 1? Come with your call sign and your choice. Nothing heard? Well, guess what? Bravo is correct. Which of the following bands is phone operation prohibited? It is indeed 30 meters. So congratulations to KG5BLC, N5SMO, and K5BZI. Question number 2 from our general pool. On which of the following bands is image transmission prohibited? Which of the following bands is image transmission prohibited? Is it as follows? Alpha, 160 meters. Bravo, 30 meters. Charlie, 20 meters. Or Delta, 12 meters. A, 160. B, 30. C, 20. D, 12. If you are a technician and you want to play along, come with your call sign and your choice. All right, we're going to throw KJ5BLC under the bus. KJ5, Bravo, Lima, Charlie. Give us an idea. Just throw something out there. See if you can guess.
Okay, how about Bravo, 30 meters again?
Fantastic. All right, we got Bravo for 30 meters. Any other technicians want to try this before we open the floor? Well, be that way. All right. If you want to play along and you are an amateur radio operator, any license class, come with your call sign and your choice.
November 5, Whiskey, Romeo, Whiskey, Bravo. E, 30 meters, because now we know you're double devious.
All right, we got N5WRW for Bravo, we got Bill, N5SMO for Bravo. Anybody else want to play along? All right, nothing heard. Yes, Bill, that is correct. I'm double devious. The correct answer is Bravo, 30 meters. So congrats, KJ5BLC, man. You pulled the right answer out of your rear. Which of the following bands is image transmission prohibited? It is indeed 30 meters. All right, so it's time for question number 3. Question number 3 is from the extra exam pool. So let's see how you do. Except in some parts of Alaska, what is the maximum power permitted on the 630-meter band? Do that again. Except in some parts of Alaska, what is the maximum power permitted on the 630-meter band? Your choices are as follows. Alpha, 50 watts PEP. Bravo, 100 watts PEP. Charlie, 1 watt EIRP. Or Delta, 5 watts EIRP. If you are a technician, now is the chance. Give me your call sign and your choice. All right, we're going to go pick on Charles. KJ5BLC. Come on and
Bravo,
take a stab at it. All right, I doubled on everybody. So let's try that again. We had 2 people talking with me, so I'll back off and we'll let everybody play.
All right, KJ5BLC, I'm going to take a guess at Bravo. If that was 100 watts, I think I remembered it being Bravo.
N5WRW, it's 5 watts. I can't remember the letter.
All right, so BLC said Bravo, and that was 100 watts PEP. And N5WRW said Delta, and that is 5 watts EIRP. We'll do this again. Alpha is 50 watts PEP. Bravo is 100 watts PEP. Charlie is 1 watt EIRP. And Delta is 5 watts EIRP. We got BLC and WRW. If you have a call sign and you want to play along, bring me your call sign and your choice now.
This is N5LX. I'm going to choose, I think you said it was Delta, 5 watts.
All right, we got Sky down for Delta, 5 watts EIRP. Anybody else?
KI5PZN with Delta.
Ooh, we got Mr. Extra himself with the Delta. All right, anybody want to copy Ernesto? All right, let's see what we think. Except in some parts of Alaska, what is the maximum power permitted on the 630-meter band? The correct answer is Delta, 5 watts EIRP. So N5WRW got that right, as well as N5LX, KI5PZN. I'm surprised you didn't wait for Bill to answer there, Ernesto. Way to go, Charles, and thanks for trying. There's our top 3 questions for tonight, 2 from the general, 1 from the extra. We got to throw in and make it a little something fun. So there we have it. Let's see. I'm going to turn it back to net control because I think I'm next, but I'm not real sure. Steve, what are we doing?
Let's do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N50AK, and we'll go back to you, Rusty, for the club news and announcements.
All right, sir. I thought I was next as well. Well, thanks to Sky for the Fox News, and yes, the Fox at the house is fun. So for those of you, the club has a Fox. If you have a great hiding place and would like to play, contact me on Discord, and I will charge it up and get it to you, and you can hide the Fox. So you can put it in your front yard if you want. It seems to kind of piss people off, so, you know, if you're kind of tricksy like me, then by all means. This week we have 2 new members. We're up to 559 members. Look at us go. We got James, KG5UZS. Welcome, James. And we got Steve. Steve is taking his test this Saturday, so we got our fingers crossed for you, man. And good luck on that. Well, we should be hearing Steve. Steve just joined the Discord today, and hopefully we'll hear him on the net or on the repeater sooner than later. The club is in need of some loving in our bank account. It's been a very expensive quarter for us. We had 2 repeaters go down, so if you got anything hanging out in your bank account that you could spare, we use Zelle. We can also use PayPal. Contact me if you want PayPal because we prefer Zelle. That way we don't have to pay any processing fees. All donations are tax deductible, and you can make that happen. Go online to n5oak.org under the donations tab, and it will point you to all the things that you need to know. While you're there, you can also buy N5OAK gear. You can get coffee mugs and T-shirts and hoodies and all that kinds of fun stuff, as well as go check out the new contest calendar. For those of you that are new and trying to figure out when the contests are when, we put the contest calendar up there, so you can go check that out as well. The club's next meeting will be Saturday, October 21st at the House and Branch of the Austin Public Library. All the details are on the website and the Discord channel. It's all up there waiting for you. If it's time for you to upgrade or get your buddy license, we also are doing testing after every quarterly club meeting. So again, our next testing session will be Saturday, October 21st at the library. Starts up at about noon. You can sign up and pay and get all registered and booked online at n5oak.org. Just click on the Get License tab to reserve your spot, and we'll get you in there. I haven't heard anything about fox hunts for the weekend, but you just check out the Fox Hunt channel on the Discord because that changes all the time. We meet up for Old Man Breakfast at 8 a.m. at the Waterloo Ice House. It's the Austin Amateur Radio Club. They've been meeting there for a long time, but we crash it every so often, especially for fox hunting. We'll meet there, have breakfast, and then go fox hunting. So if you were an early riser or just wants some mediocre breakfast and great conversation, 8 a.m. at the Waterloo Ice House, 183 and Burnet. Details are on the calendar on the website. You can go check that out. We are also always on the lookout for some new net controllers. So Steve is our newest net controller. He does a bang-up job. Thanks for running the net tonight. If you'd like more information, you can ping us on the Thursday Night Net channel, and you can also find the script pinned over there on the side. So if you want to come hang out with us and be part of the net control team, we're always looking for new people. And speaking of net controls and running the nets, we have our latest and greatest incarnation. Ernesto has come up with the traveling taco net. Ernesto's coming to my house. We're starting it out tomorrow, so y'all make sure and tune in. It is tomorrow from 7 to 9, or, until we're done, however long it runs. But Ernesto, at the last Friday of every month, Ernesto is going to travel over to a different person's house. We're starting it out at my house. I don't know where the next one is. But if you would like Ernesto to come to your house and you'd like to see how nets work and all that kinds of fun, by all means, hit him up on Discord. But our very first traveling taco net is tomorrow between 7 to 9-ish, and it'll be broadcast out of my house. Looking forward to noshing down on some tacos and having some fun. So thanks, Ernesto, for putting that together, and looking forward to it for sure. For those of you who are new and want to stay radioactive all week long, the easiest way to stay up to date is to subscribe to the official club calendar. You can do that by heading over to n5oak.org and click on the calendar tab to make that happen. And we've got everybody's nets. It's our nets are in there. We've got the DMR nets are in there. We've got the Austin Club's nets, the Wilco, all the Travis County Aries. So it's a whole mix, and there's something to do every night. So if you are new and excited about ham radio and you need some pointers on where to go and when to go subscribe to the club calendar, and man, we'll throw it in there and make it happen, and everything will magically show up in your calendar, including our park potluck, which is November 4th. So if you're looking for something to do to hang out, it will be at McKinney Falls State Park, November 4th, the N5OAK Park potluck. All the details are on the details are coming. The save the date is on the calendar, and we've got some stuff in the Discord. But November 4th, we want to see y'all there. I think that's all I have, so we will send this back to Steve, KI5UKF. Thanks for running the net, sir, and we'll see you later down the log. WZ5BBS.
Rusty, thank you for doing the questions tonight and for those club updates and announcements. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. If you just joined us, the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system, and you want to participate, be sure and set your tone to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Steve, KI5UKF, and I am your net controller for tonight's net. I will be looking for regular check-ins shortly. No membership is required. Any licensed operator is welcome to check in. Before we start with check-ins, I've got a couple of thoughts about maybe some questions, like, I guess, anything new going on at your ham shack as far as antennas. I'm trying to build a couple of antennas right now. I'm kind of curious if anybody else is working on antennas, getting ready for the winter peaks. All right, so new hams, again, you're encouraged to check in, and if you're a new ham, we'd love to hear from you. Let's go now for regular check-ins, first round. Please come with your call sign and your name. That call sign, please do it phonetically and kind of talk a little slow if you don't mind. Thank you.
This is November 5, Sierra Mike Oscar Bill.
This is November 5, Lima X-Ray Sky.
This is N5WRW Dwight.
This is Kilo Fox 5 Delta Papa X-Ray Chris.
This is Kilo Juliet 5 Bravo Lima Charlie. This is Charles.
This is Kilo India 5 Yankee Lima Sierra. No traffic, Cody, but I'll be listening.
Any other regular check-ins? Come now with your name and your call sign.
This is KI5NLK Anderson in South Austin.
All right, sounds like we got a good first group, so let's go back up to the top. Bill, you're an antenna builder guy. What's going on with you?
Hey, Steve. Thanks for running the net. I don't have anything currently in the works, but I'm going to put up a 12-meter leg on my fan dipole as soon as it cools off enough to get outside and get on my roof without destroying the shingles under my feet. Because 12 meters has been really good. I mean, I had the weird thing happen today. It never happened to me on any band. Is like did 4 contacts on Digimode back to back in 5 minutes to Japan, Australia, Italy, and England. So it's like working both into the light and dark side of the Earth at the same time. So that was kind of weird, and I've not seen that before. That I can remember recently. But other than that, things have been real good, and I missed your last question about the 100-degree day. I missed about one day. I said the 23rd, it was the 22nd, so there you go. And 5 SMO.
That's awesome, Bill. I meant to keep that list and bring it back up later, but the script that I use on my desktop, I overwrote it with some changes on the script, so I'm glad you kept track of your guests. I'm curious on your fan dipole. In addition to your planned 12-meter leg, what other legs do you already have running on the fan?
Well, I have one that has 40, 20, 10, and 6 on it, and I have another one that has 15 and 18 on it, and I'll probably put it onto the 10, 20, 40, 6 one because I'm afraid it's too close to the 15-meter band where it may not tune up well, and having it on the 10-meter band, I'm thinking maybe may help the bandwidth a little bit on that one. I can tune it a little bit higher up and still get a good SWR in the lower portion. I'm hoping. Anyway, we'll find out if it happens or not. And 5 SMO.
All right, well, good luck, and be sure and let us know. I think the fan dipoles are an interesting choice. Don't know that much about them technically, but I'd love to see if that other addition works for you. All right, does anybody have anything for Bill tonight?
N5WRW.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Yeah, Bill, I'm curious. What you said you were working them on digital. What protocol or what mode was it?
FT8. I find there's more traffic on FT8 and a better chance of getting anyone than practically any other mode just because there's so many people on it. I don't see much DX on PSK anymore, although there's still quite good local traffic in Canada. I see a lot of Canadians running it. And sometimes FT4 is good if the conditions are really good, but FT8 will work a little bit down deeper into the noise than FT4 will. Back to you, N5 SMO.
Thanks. N5WRW, back to net.
Okay, anybody else have any other comments or questions for Bill tonight? All right, Bill, well, good luck on that 12-meter leg. Next, we'll go to N5LX Sky, who I also know is another antenna builder. I got to see one of his antennas at the summer field day. Sky, what's going on?
Hey, this is N5LX. Not really that much. It's kind of a quiet week for me. I guess the big news, as far as ham stuff goes, is I got a new radio, a 2-meter mobile rig, which the only one I had before was many, many years ago. This is the first one that I've had that'll do more than 10 watts on 2 meters and 70 centimeters, so I'm going to have fun with that. Got a lot of irons in the fire for electronic stuff, but the main thing that I'm going to probably do this maybe early next week, I discovered recently that my attic fan dipole needs some retuning, and I suspect that the screens that I had installed on the gables, probably detuning it. I'm going to reset real quick. So anyway, I got to crawl up there and trim it. I've been using a Nano VNA, which is a really nice tool to have. But it's not real fun climbing up there. It's kind of messy. I've got a lot of blown-in insulation, and it's going to be hot. So I think I might try it early in the morning on that one. That's about it. I've almost have all the parts I need for my new motorized mag loop project. I already have built one that's not motorized. It's just manual on a little tripod. But this one, I almost have all the parts, so I'm going to be ready to start it up soon. It'll be using 1 5/8 Heliax for the loop conductor, and I'm going to have I'm going to reset again. The vacuum variable capacitor for tuning, that's going to be motorized, and I got a little circuit I'm going to build for that, for controlling it, and for detecting the ends of the travel so that it doesn't go too far and damage the motor, load the motor. Anyway, I'm going to be looking forward to that, and if it works, I might put it in one of those little, like one of those little plastic greenhouse domes or something in the backyard on a rotator. That would be kind of fun. That's all I'm up to. Back to you, and hi everybody out there, by the way. This is N5LX, back to net control.
Hey Scott, 2 quick questions. Same question I asked Bill on the first one. What your fan dipole in your attic, what bands do you have that set on? And then my second question relates to your new mag loop that you're building. What band is that going to be built for?
Yeah, those are good questions. Okay, so the fan dipole doesn't perform as well as I'd like, and I suspect it's because of the radiant barrier, the aluminum foil that's underneath the siding and the walls. But it's 10, 15, and 20 meters, and then I have a separate dipole up there for 40, which is loaded. It's a shortened dipole. The 10 and 15 and 20, it's kind of oriented to where it's pointing east and west. The 40 is too. It works okay. It was kind of disappointing, but it works. The 40-meter dipole works, although because it's shortened with those inductive coils, it has a pretty narrow bandwidth, so you got to use a tuner. But I'm going to reset. But that's it, 10, 15, 20, and then a separate one for 40. And then the mag loop, I'm still kind of scratching my head trying to decide. The one that I built before was about a little over 8 feet circumference, and it works on 10, 15, and 20 meters a lot better than I anticipated. It was kind of optimized for 10 meters, but I was really surprised. It works really good on 20. So if you make your loop a little bit bigger, say like if I made it 16 feet, it would be circumference that would be optimized for 20 meters. Super efficient, especially with a 1 5/8 Heliax as a conductor. But if I did that, it probably might not work all that well on 10 meters. So I'm still kind of just trying to decide whether I want a bigger loop, or maybe make one about the same size or just a little bit bigger than the other one so that it'll work on all 3 bands. Or I could compromise and maybe have it to where it works on 10 and on 20 and 15. So I haven't decided yet, but obviously the lower the frequency, the bigger the loop has to be. So that's it. This is N5LX. Back to you.
All right, Scott, thanks for those details on your antenna setups. Anyone else have a comment or question for Sky tonight, or just want to say hi?
N5SMO.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Sky. I have a question for you about mag loops. I know I think you said you made the last one out of coax, and or maybe it was Heliax, and you mentioned Heliax for this one. What does the diameter of the conductor, not the diameter of the loop, but the diameter of the conductor, how does that affect a mag loop with like using a thinner material, say, I don't know, something like 1/8 or 1/4 inch copper tubing versus Heliax, which is a lot thicker? And I wonder what that changes. And also, is it possible, like you were talking about band optimization, to nest a smaller loop inside the bigger loop and have them share the same capacitor? Is that something that's ever done or possible? Back to you, Sky, N5SMO.
Hey, Bill. Those are great questions. I can probably answer the first one. The actual diameter of the conductor for your loop, as opposed to like the circumference or the diameter of the loop itself, but the diameter of the loop conductor, if it's smaller, the efficiency goes down, and if it's a larger diameter, the efficiency goes up. So if I had like a 1/4 inch diameter, I don't know, like RG8 or something that's roughly a 1/4 of an inch, and then, I don't know, I'm just going to do this off the top of my head, at 20 meters with say like a 9-foot diameter loop, your efficiency would be maybe like 20 or 30%. I'm going to do reset. And then this is according to the calculators. I just kind of plug these numbers in and I wrote them down. But if I use, say, like the 1 5/8 Heliax, the efficiency goes like way up to like 90%. That, at least from the calculators that I've tried, that seems to be a big difference. Mag loops are super low resistance inductor, and that's a big factor. You have to make sure that everything's brazed or bolted down real tight. If it's not real low resistance, you lose power. I'm going to reset again. Another question, I don't think I can answer that, but that's a really fascinating idea, to have a loop in a loop and share the capacitor. I think one of the other things, I guess, that sort of ties in with your previous question is if the loop conductor is a larger diameter, I think that gives you a somewhat wider bandwidth. Because mag loops are an RC tuned circuit, and it's generally, it's a pretty narrow bandwidth to begin with. You can widen it a little by using a larger diameter loop conductor, but not compared to a wire antenna. But a loop within a loop, I really don't know. That's a really great question. This is N5LX.
All right, cool. Thanks, Guy. That's pretty interesting. I always wondered that about the diameter of conductor, and I didn't know that. Thanks for the information. Back to net, N5SMO.
I don't know about everybody else, but I think Bill and Scott need to do an Elmer Academy on antennas for us. That was a very high-level conversation. Okay, does anybody else have anything for Scott tonight? All righty, Scott. I wish you a good evening and nice talking to you. Next we have N5WRW, Dwight.
Yeah, this is N5WRW. Not a great deal going on today or this week, but trying to get on some and working real hard on my Morse code, and it's actually getting a bit better this time, which is a miracle in and of itself. The antenna thing is, we all wish we had a 100-foot tower and a big stinking beam or quad or something, but I guess we can dream. N5WRW.
Yeah, and especially if you're like me and you're in an HOA, Even when you get to the point where you've saved a little money and could start thinking about a tower, not going to happen. Anyway, I'll stick with my fiberglass pole for now and just keep putting it up and putting it down. All right, Dwight, good luck on your CW practice. That's something that I need to do eventually, because really that was a big reason why I got into ham radio, is my dad was a Morse code operator in the Korean War, and yet that's kind of something I put off learning because it's hard to learn new stuff. All right, does anybody have any questions for Dwight tonight or comments? All right, Dwight. Well, again, good luck on the practicing. I'm sorry, did you say that you said you're studying for something and you gave a name? Is that some kind of a certification or CW name of some kind?
No, I got my extra, but of course didn't need code for that. I actually had to pass 13 words a minute for my general back in Jurassic times. No, well, I signed up for a class with CW Academy, and they seem pretty hardcore, but we'll see how it goes. N5WRW.
Well, I hope by hardcore they don't hook up, any AC high current to the keyer there, and if you get too slow, maybe zap you a little bit. I hope it's not that kind of hardcore.
Yeah, very Clockwork Orange. I don't know, maybe Spark Gap. N5WRW.
All right, Dwight. Thanks for checking in tonight, and good luck on your CW practice. Next we have Chris, KF5DPX.
KF5DPX. As far as antenna building goes, I'm thinking about just putting up a plain old 20-meter dipole. I have an 80-meter end fed that goes around my house, but it doesn't hear very well, and I don't know why. So I've been trying to to chase a park in Vermont because I don't have that state. So that's the goal with that. Otherwise, I ordered a Soda Beans Tactical Mini. I don't know how many months ago. I forgot I ordered it, and it showed up in the mail yesterday. So I have this Soda Beans Tactical Mini, which the reason I ordered it is collapsed. It's about 24 inches or 22 inches, and will fit in a carry-on size suitcase for traveling. Whereas the Spider Beam that I have right now only collapses down to 28 inches and does not fit in a suitcase. Other than that, might go do a new park activation this weekend. I try to do one never before activated park on my part per month, and the month is getting shorter, so that's that. And let's see, I did some traveling for I guess work-ish and fun reasons. I was in Chicago for kind of like a tech thing, and then I went out to DEF CON in Las Vegas. Directly after that, flew directly from Chicago to Las Vegas and made sure to go over to the ham radio village little thing that they have going on there inside the DEF CON conference every year. And I mean, there wasn't not much to talk about there other than it was interesting seeing all those folks. So that's all I got. KF5DPX, back to net.
Yeah, Chris, well, thanks for that. I have a 40-meter in-bed half wave, and I've raised up a 20-meter dipole and tried to compare them, and really I thought the performance was pretty comparable. So I hope you have better luck than I do, especially if you're having trouble picking up 20 meters on your 80-meter. I assume that's an in-bed half wave. Anyway, for me, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, even putting them up at about the same height. So I probably got something off on the 20-meter I made myself, so maybe that's the reason it doesn't work better than the in-bed.
Yeah, it's probably mostly due to the fact that I'm surrounded on three sides by power lines, and that just not going to help anything. And the 80 meter will it's actually it's I can tune 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 on that 80 meter. So I'm hoping maybe a little bit more efficiency from a straight up dipole, but I'm not holding my breath just because of the power line situation. Back to Net.
Yeah, Chris, well, I guess that's why we do the parks on the air activation, right? It's nothing like going out to one of those parks and just seeing that noise floor go way down to the bottom and then having all those great contacts. Wish I could live there. All right, does anybody have any questions or comments or want to say hi or say hello to Chris tonight?
And 5SML?
Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Chris. Hope you're doing well. And just curious, what park are you going to activate?
I'm still trying to decide which park. I've got most of them around here, except for the that Legion. I always reserve that Legion's French Legion Hall or whatever it is, just in case. I'm either thinking Mother Neff State Park up I don't know, somewhere around the Belton Temple area, or maybe South Leona River State Park.
Those all sound pretty cool. Have you done Guadalupe River yet?
Yep, I've done Guadalupe River. I'm just trying to think of the parks I've done around here. Of course, McKinney Falls, Lockhart, Bastrop, Busher, Pedernales, the one over there on 290, Lyndon B. Johnson. I guess I could do the National Historic Site there too. Haven't done that one yet, but my parks in a reasonable driving range is getting thinner and thinner each month.
Yeah, you definitely need to do some driving in Texas to work a lot of them, that's for sure. That's all I got. Back to Chris and the Net and 5SMO.
Yeah, Chris, I guess one other comment from me. This is Steve, Cat 5 UKF. Is I've always kind of wanted to go to Enchanted Rock and see if I could sneak a small unit. I guess it would almost be a soda, but sneak a small unit up on top of that granite dome. Maybe get on the back side of that, have a lot of visibility, and see what that would be like. Have you activated Enchanted Rock?
I actually have not activated that one. I was camping there not May of 2022 and had brought the gear, and when I went to do it, I was camping with friends, but I went to do it. There was a storm, I don't know, maybe 50 miles away, a little bit less, and when I put the antenna up and I put the antenna up and then I touched it and I got a little shock, not even transmitting. So I took the antenna down and I'm saving Enchanted Rock for not 106 degrees.
All right, well, I think that'll be a cool one. All right, does anybody else have anything for Chris tonight? All right, Chris. Well, good luck on your park selection for this month. And yeah, you're running out of time. We only got another week left in this month, so I wish you the best on that. All right, next we have Charles. Charles, how are you this evening?
DJ5BLC here. Doing pretty well. Started out, I normally listen to this on Leando repeater 441-600, and just a little bit into it, it just totally went dead. And so I switched over to 446-325, and so I don't know if that's a link that dropped or what happened there, but first time that's ever happened to me. Interesting that we're talking about antennas. Yesterday, I've had the stuff for probably over a month, but finally got some time yesterday to try to put up a 10-meter dipole, and it wasn't quite as easy as I thought it might be, but I got it up, and but I've got to tune it, and I obviously got the distance off a little bit. I did have one question. Let me pause. is a simple question I probably should know, but when you talk about the length for a half-wave 10-meter dipole, does that count the distance where I've got the big ballon in the middle for the center feed? Is that 2 inches part of that distance or not? Because I didn't count it. My Nano VNA obviously shows it's off pretty bad. It starts, I only scanned it on the 10-meter frequency for a technician, and it starts off and it just climbs all the way to about 2.8. So today I hope to come back and scan a bigger area and kind of see where it was and then see if I could tune it up, but I got busy and never got back to it. So that's where I'm at for now. So anyway, KJ5BLC, back to net.
Well, Charles, thanks for the report on the Leander repeater. I'm not sure who that belongs to, but I bet somebody that's on the radio now knows and can go check that out. I wasn't aware we even had a repeater that we were hooked up into Leander. Real interesting information there on your setup and your antenna, and wish you the best on that. All right, does anybody have anything for Charles tonight? Well, okay, Charles. Well, thanks for checking in, and good luck to you on your project. All right, next we had Cody with no traffic, and next we have Anderson in South Austin. Anderson, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Yeah, 5 and okay here. You said Cody and then with no traffic, and I went, oh, I'm not ready. But yeah, I just been doing a whole lot of nothing. I thought my computer was toast a minute ago while I was sitting here waiting to check in. That's why I was so slow, but turns out we're good. It was overclocking settings, nothing to freak out about. But I like the taco idea that Ernesto had. I'm not going to be able to make it though. I was getting all excited, and then something came up, so that'll make me sad. But yeah, I got nothing radio.
That's a funny coincidence. At about 7:50 tonight, so 10 minutes before the net starts, I've got my desktop that I've got all my script and everything else on, and I went to unplug my speakers because they'll get some RF on them when I'm transmitting, especially when I'm running net control because you're transmitting a lot. So I went to unplug it, and I accidentally unplugged the computer instead, and I've got something going on with my CMOS now where it's about a 6 or 7 minute boot time. Once it boots up, it's fine. The system runs great. But something's weird in the CMOS, and I was like trying to beat the clock to get my system back up and running, or else we were going to go without a script, which I think would truly be an ugly thing. All right, thanks a lot then, Anderson, for checking in. Does anybody have anything for Anderson, question, comment, or say hello? A little quiet tonight, Anderson, but thanks for checking in, and good luck to you, and we'll catch you on the next net. Let's go ahead and do a radio station ID now. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N50AK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central, and we're going to go now to our second round of regular check-ins. Come on now with your name and your call sign. Please give me that call sign phonetically.
This is Whiskey Zulu 5 Bravo Sierra Rusty, Northwest Austin.
This is Kilo Charlie 3 November Alpha Golf Randy, about a mile east of Rusty.
All right, anyone else for second round of regular check-ins? Come now with your name and call sign.
Kilo 7 Tango Victor Alpha, David, about a mile west of Rusty. We've got him surrounded.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5 Mike Papa Juliet, about 30 miles south of those guys.
Anyone else want to check in the second round? All right, let's go back up to Rusty then. Thanks for that phonetic call sign. You're really helpful there. Nice and slow. Anything going on with you and antennas, Rusty, or anything else?
I got nothing going on with antennas. I discussed Ernesto. He wants to put up so many antennas at my house, and I just say no. I've got one of those bougie Chameleon Impasse 2.0s that does all the bands and all the stuff, and it's all I need, and it takes up no space. So, makes me happy. It's expensive, but it does the trick. So, nothing there. Just kind of getting back in the grind. I've been on vacation for too long, so kind of doing that. Birthday was on Tuesday, and my brother and my sister took me out for dinner, and then we went and saw Lyle Lovett and his large band at the ACL, the Moody Theater, and that was fantastic. It was a long show. Opening act went on at 8, and then they got kicked out about 8:40, and Lyle Lovett went on at 9, and he played till like 12:15, which was impressive. So he kept everybody up, and his audience is a little older, so they kept funneling out about after 11:30. I guess they'd had enough, but he put on a heck of a show. So that's about it. I've been playing on the radio a little bit. I got to help Sky test out his new 2-meter rig, and I'm looking forward to the traveling taco net, as long as David and Randy don't, blow up the house, we'll be good to go. But, yeah, man, so traveling taco net tomorrow, and then we got F1 this weekend starting back up, so that's going to be fun. So that's about the only thing that's on my calendar, man.
All right, Rusty, well, it sounds like you had a good birthday celebration. I'm curious, this bourgeois antenna that you're talking about, what's the make and model of that, just so I can go look it up?
It is a Chameleon antenna, and I believe it's chameleonantenna.com or chameleonantennas.com, and it's called an Impasse 2.0, MPAS, Mike Papa Alpha Sierra 2.0. It's a portable. It tears down into nothing. It's kind of like the tent stakes or the tent poles that you put in. They compress together, and it does, like I said, it does all the bands. And I think the highest SWR on it is like 3.2. So the 7300 loves it. And man, you can put it up in about 5 minutes, and life is great. It's probably 20-something feet tall, has one counterpoise, and man, the little thing just rocks. And it's been sitting out in my backyard, over a year and a half now, and has never let me down.
Well, that sounds pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that information. All right, does anybody have any questions or comments for President Rusty tonight?
F5 DPX.
Go ahead.
Curious about that Lyle Lovett show. I've seen him with his large band 3 times. Was Francine Reed with him, singing with him tonight, or one of these shows, or was it? Did he have someone else?
That name does not ring a bell. No, he had 3 gospel singers, a bass, an alto, and a soprano, 2 guys and a woman, and man, they were fantastic. So that name does not sound familiar, but yeah, it was a fantastic show. And like I said, I wouldn't expect him to be there at midnight, and you could tell the people running the show, I don't think realized they were going to be there that late either, because they all had this kind of look on their face like it's time for y'all to get out. But they were pleasant. But yeah, man, it was a great show.
All right, when I've seen him 2 of the 3 times, well, they've always had the gospel singers, but he does those duets, and then she sings Wild Woman Don't Get the Blues. So if you've ever listened to the Live in Texas album, actually I was at that show, and it was recorded at the Majestic in San Antonio, I think it was called the Majestic, I can't remember. But yeah, she was amazing. But nonetheless, even like that whole thing is incredible. That Lyle Lovett show was in the probably in the top 5 shows I've ever seen. So I'm glad you got to see it too. So KF5 DPX back to that.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have anything for Rusty tonight?
K5BZI. I've only seen Lyle Lovett once. First of all, happy birthday, Rusty. And but I've only seen Lyle Lovett once. But Allie and I were fortunate enough to be able to see his ACL. What's it called? Hall of Fame induction, and that was pretty cool. Hosted by Robert O'Keefe Jr. But I was going to say that 3-hour concert, 3 hours 15 minutes, pretty awesome. And he probably spent an hour of that talking. But either way, probably a great show.
You are correct. He talked very slowly, and I think that's when he was kind of losing people because he wouldn't shut up. And so, yeah, you'd see people kind of milling out. But I got to see him in Waco with the Waco Symphony, and that was a great show because they did some special arrangements with him there. But yeah, man, they had, I think it was 15 people on stage, and the drummer and the bass player both played with James Taylor and Joni Mitchell, so they've been around forever. And then on the horns, like the tenor sax and the alto sax, they were both professors at UNT, and they were both in the 1 O'Clock Jazz Band. So there was, incredible amount of talent on that stage for sure.
Yep. A lot of those names sound familiar from when we saw them. Pretty cool stuff. If anyone's listening who's never seen them, I highly recommend if you get a chance, go check out the Lyle Lovett. He's awesome. K5BZI, back to that.
All right. Anybody else have anything for Rusty tonight? Okay, Rusty. Well, thanks for the birthday update and the antenna information, and hope you have a good weekend. Next, let's go to Randy. All right, maybe Randy stepped away from his rig for a minute. Then we'll go next to David.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for running the net, and hello to everybody. All right, so you opened a can of worms for me and mentioned antenna projects, and all I have to do is look around the room here in the man cave, and there's like 15 antenna projects staring back at me. So I'll just talk about a couple. One that I've been working on a lot is I'm trying to build a vertical for POTA. I have like a dipole and a fiberglass pole that like a Lix dipole and a fiberglass pole that I usually use for POTA and SOTA. But I think a vertical might be more effective with the low takeoff angles because often it's during the day and like 20-meter envis or 40-meter envis doesn't really want to work and get a lot of contact. So I got one of those 17-foot stainless steel whips that's about the right length to be a quarter wave on 20 meters, and I'm working on putting together a 3D printed like base for it that'll hold it and give me a place to attach some radials and do like an elevated radial. So it'll be like a giant version of the 2-meter kind of ground plane antenna everyone builds as their first antenna. So that's the idea on that one. I'll let this drop. I also have materials to try to make a 900 megahertz beam, and so I think the design that I have is like a 10-element Quaggy, which is like a Yagi, but the driven element and the reflector are square loops, and then the rest of the directors are just normal directors like any other Yagi. And that would be to go with either a Meshtastic node or just like for repeater use, because we've had a few like kind of informal 900 megahertz nets or sessions recently drop. And I also have some Yagi elements that used to go in a PVC pipe, like they would fit inside the pipe for transport and then come out and go through a hole in the PVC pipe and turn into a 4-element 2-meter Yagi. And I've used that for like VHF summits on the air activations way back in the long past, but I turned that, I cannibalized that PVC pipe and used it to build my tape measure Yagi for fox hunting. So I need to get a new pipe and re-drill the holes and to be able to put that portable antenna back together. So that's portable antennas, and I can keep going, but I think I'll hand it back to Net before I ramble on all night here. K7 TVA.
Wow, David, that's a lot. And then I guess you said there's 15, around 15 total projects. That's a lot to go on. I have to keep it at one at a time because I'm not super technical, and I need to only look at one set of plans. Otherwise, I'd be cutting stuff the wrong length, etc. That vertical for 20 meters sounds really interesting. I'm trying to picture what that looks like in my mind, but maybe I'll have to go look that up in some antenna websites. Anyway, so thanks for that information on the antenna building projects. Now let's see if anyone else has anything for David tonight. All right, well, David, good luck getting some of those antennas finished. Maybe that you just get interested in something else and kind of stop in the middle and start another one. Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So I have a list, and I'm supposed to only be allowed to work on 2 at a time. That's my rule for myself, but I break the rule all the time and just switch back and forth and run into some difficulties. So then I try to think, oh, I'll do this other one, it'll be easier, and then I run into some difficulty on that one. Yeah, that's how it goes. K7 TVA.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I look forward to maybe seeing if you'll post some pictures in the antenna channel on Discord or something. Maybe I look forward to seeing some of that work come to fruition. All right, then we will move on now to Jason. What's going on, Jason?
This is KB5MPJ. As far as your question about antenna projects, I don't have anything in the works right now, but I've been thinking about putting up a inverted V 10-meter dipole. So I'll probably do that pretty soon, and I've been wanting to set up a log periodic antenna that I can at least hit 70 centimeter and 900, and possibly 220, but definitely 70 centimeter and 900 from a single antenna. So eventually I'm going to try to build those, but I haven't started it on those yet. KB5MPJ.
And what type of antenna is it that you're going to build for the 70 centimeter and maybe the 900?
It's a log periodic, so it's kind of a multi-band Yagi, although it's not really a Yagi, it's more of a set of dipoles on a single mast that kind of resemble, it works a lot like a Yagi, but it has wideband characteristics. You know, like you can design it for a certain range of frequencies, and it doesn't have as much gain as a Yagi, but it still has some gain and allows you to put it together on a single antenna.
That's interesting. That's a new antenna format that I'm not familiar with, so I'll have to go research that as well. All right, well, thanks for that information. Anyone have anything, questions or comments for Jason? I heard a signal hit the repeater, but I couldn't make out anything. Do you want to try again?
Yeah, maybe this is better. I was trying to run 5 watts. This is W5DGV. I've got a log periodic dipole array. It works great.
Yeah, there's one that I think it's called Creative Antenna or something like that, but they're expensive. It's like $500 or something, so I'm going to try to make my own. But I have talked to people that have used them, and it seems like they do work pretty well.
Yeah, Roger, that's what I've got. The one, the Create Log Periodic, it covers 50 megahertz through 1.2 gig. And there's 6 ham bands in there, and I got radios for 4 of them, but I got to switch coax. But anyway, it works good. mine's oriented horizontally, so it does a good job. But they only have about 10 dB a gain, and they're pretty wide. They have a pretty wide beam width. Anyway, I'll shut back up. I'm over here at Canyon Lake running, I think, 20 watts. W5DQ.
Great. Does anybody have anything else for Jason?
N5SMO.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Jason, I've seen some pretty inexpensive antennas that cover 900 to 2.4 gig. Log periodics, they're like the printed circuit board type where they're on both sides of etched onto the circuit board with the elements there in like a plastic radome. And they're used for cell extenders or cell phone booster antennas that you'd hook up to a remote cell device. And those things are like as cheap as $30 to $50. So maybe consider doing a separate one for the lower ham bands, and then getting something like that for the higher bands if it has the bandwidth to go down low enough in 900 for the ham bands. So that I just wanted to toss that out there as a possible option. N5SMO, back to you.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at those. I was kind of hoping to have one, just a single feed line going in to cover the bands that I'm using, but, I might be able to split it up into two and probably maybe even get better results than trying to make it that wideband.
Yeah, that may be, especially if you're going to be amps on them, because of that wide split. It may need to have a different preamp, especially for 2 meters from the rest of them. And they make 2 and 70-centimeter preamps combined, and then split the other stuff. But a good place to find components for that kind of stuff, like power splitters and stuff like that up there in the gigahertz range, is at the Belton Ham Fest. There's a lot of mill surplus gear in there, and gear from commercial, like microwave and old microwave stuff, and you see that kind of a lot of stuff there where it's the machined type of splitters and diplexers and triplexers, and that stuff up there is really cheap in the flea market. And there's one coming up at Belton. I think it's I think it's October 12th, I'm not sure, but it's usually the first or the second Saturday in October. Back to you, Jason, N5SMO.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that stuff at Belton when I was there last year, but I wasn't in the market for it. But yeah, that is true. I did see some stuff like that for sale. And who knows, maybe even find a fully assembled antenna, could happen. I've got a Yagi antenna up there now that I bought at Belton, so yeah, maybe something will turn up.
Well, that's it for me. Back to that N5SMO.
Jason, some good information there, it sounds like. Good luck to you on your project. Let's go back up to log a couple of entries to KC3NAG. Randy, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, y'all. Yeah, I got my mic cord caught up in my other mic cord here. Yeah, whatever. Nothing much going on here. My mom's driving me crazy. One thing after another. But I don't know. I like doing like 40 meters phone, like at night. Like I usually don't turn radio on until 10 or 11 o'clock at night. But the band's just been like crappy. So I've been trying to entertain myself with something else, but haven't really found anything. I'm just kind of waiting for the temperature to die down a little bit. Let me let it drop a sec. On the subject of Rusty, happy birthday, Rusty. And I think Ernesto has an email from me that should Taco Night become a success, that I'm kind of signed up for the end of September. So you don't have to worry about me blowing up your house because I'm going to wait for the tacos. And then after the tacos, well, we'll talk. KC3NAG, back to net.
Okay, Randy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Network 2 should be fun. I'm going to have to miss it. The inaugural tomorrow night. I've got some plans, but I think the taco thing should be a success. Curious on your 40-meter antenna also pick up 20 meters. Certainly, I've had a lot more luck towards daytime hours with 20 than 40.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I've got a off-center fed dipole for 40, 20, 10, and 6. And it works pretty well. I mean, I've been happy with it. I did have a ground vertical that I built for 40 meters. So you got like 33-foot insulated wire going up, you know, over by a tree limb there, but straight up. And I had like, I don't know, maybe like 16 radials kicking out where just like 18-gauge wire stuff. It didn't just, the radios really don't really matter too much. But on 40 meters, like that antenna would really outperform the off-center fed dipole. It worked really well. But the paracord broke onto it, so I don't know. Wait till it gets a little cooler, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same waiting game there, Randy. All right, does anybody have anything for Randy tonight? All right, Randy, well, we'll wait with you until the weather gets cooler and we can do some more of those outside antenna projects. I personally, all of my HF work has to be done outside because I've never run the cable into my house. So this is a pretty rough time of year to be playing HF. Anyways, good luck to you. Let's go ahead and do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N50AK. We're going to move on now to our next round of check-ins. This is the third round. If you have not checked in yet and would like to check in, now is your time to come on with your call sign and your name.
K5JM, Sam in South Austin.
This is KG5, PKP in Caldwell County.
This is Kilo 5, Victor Bravo, Bill in Almost Dripping Springs.
All right, anyone else want to check in? All right, so that's 3 more. Let's go back to the top of this list. Sam, how's it going? I don't make this net every week, but I don't think I've heard you on it in quite a while.
This is K5JM. Hey, thanks for running the net tonight. Yeah, you're right. Haven't had a chance to check in regularly here the last couple of months, but trying to get better about that. But no, we had a good CW net tonight, and yeah, if you're anyone thinking about learning CW, if you can send your call by any means, please join us. We'd love to have you. And let's see, other than that, kind of a slow ham radio week for me here. But no, yeah, I think we're all in the camp of looking for that first cool north wind to do some ham radio projects. So I got a couple things stacked up here as well, and not feeling super motivated to do any of that stuff at the moment, but and enjoying the net tonight. Back to you, K5JM.
Yeah, Sam, I wonder if it's the first cool weather out of the north or the second or the third, because I know that we get the first one and it's only nice for about 24 hours and then it goes back up to 100 degrees again. So I'm looking forward to that one, but I'm also looking forward to the one that comes and stays with us for a while. All right, I hope the CWNet was good tonight. Did you have a lot of participants tonight?
Yeah, you that hot cold thing with the first cool front there. It'll definitely be kind of back and forth for a number of weeks. And as far as the CWNet, a little light tonight, but that's okay. We had myself and W5WTH of legendary fame, and so we had nice back and forth there. But yeah, anyone who wants a friendly local person to work, hop on over there on 3.532. That's 80 meters. That's in the technician part, so even if you're a tech, you can work CW. And we have a Discord channel there. Come chat with us, and we'll just work you at whatever speed you want.
All right, that sounds great. Does anybody have anything for Sam tonight? All right, Sam, let's keep our fingers crossed for that first cool front, and maybe I'll see you guys on the CW. I need to at least get some alphabet down in memory before I try that. But anyway, thanks for checking in. Next, let's go to KG5PKP in Caldwell County.
This is KG5PKP. I really don't have much to say. My neighbors are up here. They're looking in the window of my truck, listening to the radio. But anyway, not much going on, just dry weather. I just want to know one thing. Are you hearing me all right? Am I hitting that tower okay?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to cut it short. I've got to run in the house and do some things, and I was just listening, and it's past time I get in there and do some stuff, and I just want to tell everybody goodbye, and y'all take care and have a blessed week.
All right, same to you. Have a good evening. Blessings to you as well, and good luck with those neighbors. All right, take care. Next, let's go to Bill in Almost Dripping Springs. What does Almost Dripping Springs mean to you, Bill?
Yeah, hey there, Kilo 5 Victor Bravo. It means I'm probably about 500 yards or so from you. I think we're in the same HOA. I'm down at the bottom of the hill, you know, in the 290 Nutty Brown area.
That's what I was thinking. I just couldn't quite remember. So what's going on with ham radio and you?
Quite a bit this week. I spent some time moving my shack from a bedroom desk into my regular office, which has made work during the day a little less productive. But it's nice having everything in front of me, and between breaks and meetings, be able to turn on the radio and hear how terrible the bands are. On the topic of antennas, I'm kind of lucky that I've got a front yard full of trees, and so I've got a J-pole sheathed in PVC and painted green, and some trees out in front of the house, and I've got one of the this guy Nelson antenna on eBay makes really good outdoor kind of permanent in-bed half-wave antennas, and I've got one of those strung through the front yard. And it's hidden pretty well, and it's served me pretty well. I did have an antenna building experience. I don't know if it was my poor soldering or if it was one of the dogs that grabbed the antenna out of the bag and ran with it, but it didn't work too well for me. So I'm buying my antennas off the shelf right now and trying to enjoy using them, and getting on the air, and I'll go back when my soldering skills improve and try again.
Yeah, Bill, I've got one of those Nelson. I've got the 40-meter in-fed half-wave. I just haven't ever run a wire inside my house yet, so I've just been putting it up and down on a fiberglass pole. But I've got a pretty decent tree next to the house, so I might check that out. But I think I'm getting a little more height out of my pole than I will be out of that tree. So Wish I could leave that up permanently, but it really does stick out like a sore thumb against the the blue sky. The shack move sounds pretty interesting. Yeah, I can imagine that would be, if I had HF available to me during the day. I do run the VHF sometimes and just listen, but there's very little activity, at least in my experience. But if I had HF available, it would definitely cut into my productivity.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, 10 meters is pretty well shut down, at least as far as I can tell. I will hunt a little POTA during the day, usually around lunchtime. If 20 meters is doing okay, I might find a couple of spots and hunt some folks. But it is definitely a distraction. It can be a distraction. I definitely let it be a distraction sometimes. But it kind of brings a little sanity to the day, with work too. So my day typically starts around 6 a.m. and sometimes it doesn't end until 8 p.m. So I feel like these are, decent little breaks to take throughout the day. Over.
That sounds reasonable to me. With those kind of hours, that sounds pretty rough. All right, does anyone have any questions or comments for Bill? All right, Bill. Well, good luck. Hope the bands improve. Ray, K5BZI, was on here earlier saying he'd had a lot of luck on some of the, 12 meters and some other bands that I'm really not familiar with. So maybe we're just not looking at the right bands right now, but I haven't tried that yet. Have you tried any of the sort of the bands that don't work on your infed half wave?
Yeah, my infed does 40 to 10. I did order a new one. This Nelson Antennas guy has got an 80 meter to 6 meter that's only 84 feet long. So I got to figure out how to string up another 20 feet. And I found that these infed half waves are in a sloper config are pretty forgiving of making some zigzags around as long as they're continuing to slope downward. I have not seen or heard anybody on some of these bands. I've heard the crew talking about picking people up on 12 and even on 17, and it's just a bunch of noise for me. Over.
All right, about the same here. All right, well, let's move on now to another round of check-ins. Bill, thanks for visiting with us and thanks for checking in. Let's go ahead and do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N50AK. Let's go down to another round of check-ins now. Anyone else out there like to check in tonight? Please give me your call sign phonetically and your name. Anyone else want to check in tonight? Well, alrighty. Looks like it's time to wrap up the net. Before I close the net, I want to thank everybody for joining us at the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net. This is a service of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club. Call sign N50AK. And again, we are here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. We are a non-profit corporation based in Austin, Texas. For more information, please visit n50ak.org, where you can read about the club, sign up for our email list, or donate to support the continued growth of amateur radio. I do also note that those donations now are tax deductible. You might also consider joining our Discord group, where we stay in touch when we are not on the radio. We also want to thank Kyle, KA5D, for linking the University Link repeater system for this net. I'm KI5UKF, Steve, broadcasting from my QTH here in Dripping Springs. 73 to you all, and thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. The system is now returned to regular amateur use.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. WZ5BBS.
BBS, K7TVA.
As long as we're not talking about tomorrow, what you got?
Oh, well, in that case.
See you on the DM.
Roger. K7TVA clear.
AI5JT, just want to say thank you, Steve.
W5DGV.
W5DGV, KB5MPJ.
Yeah, I was trying to check into the net and I never got through, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Yeah, I don't know, because I heard you on there, but I guess maybe they didn't hear you during the check-in or something. You were a little scratchy to start with, but then I was able to hear you just fine.
Yeah, I do not know what's going on over here. I was running 20 watts when I was trying to check in, and then I was running 100 watts when I was trying to check in, and now I'm running about 50. It's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, you sound fine now, a little static, but very readable. I'm not having any trouble reading you.
Yeah, I got a new directional antenna over here, and I thought I had it tuned in, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah, maybe not. Do you hit the 250 or the 320?
Trying to hit the 320. I understand it's an Oak Hill, but I don't know what's going on. I may have a piece of coax went bad or something.
Yeah, you could try the 250, but I think the 320 has a lot bigger footprint, so you might have as good a shot hitting either one of them. But yeah, I don't know. You're sounding fine now. That 250's in Johnson City, if you want to aim your antenna towards it and try it, 147.250, and it's also 114.8 for the tone.